Perfect. So I'm just getting my screen set up here. If you guys want to give me a thumbs up when you can see it and make sure that we're all recording, Mike, we can dive in. Cool. Thumbs up. Sweet. So again, Rick and I have been in your shoes for many years, so we understand that there's a lot of stuff on your plate, a lot of emails to get to, a lot of clients. So we're not going to bore you, not going to waste your time. We promise. We're going to give you the meatiest information that we possibly can, give you stuff that's engaging, and hopefully give you a few minutes back to finish up some lunch, Matt. So quick things we're going to hit on today is the overviews of the different products. Again, Mike said we have 3 products. The focus, the priority is for Privy Convert. That's the pop-up tool for different displays. Next is Privy Email. We'll talk about that at a more high level. I know that you guys aren't necessarily managing email for clients. And so really the focus here is like, if you think a client could be doing a better job with their email platform, here's a few things where you might want to say, hey, check Privy out, and you can intro them to Rick. And then the partnership, I can just dive a little bit more into what that relationship looks like. And of course, any questions, we can jump in at the end. We like to keep things conversational. I know sometimes with a big group, it's not always normal to jump in with questions, but please don't hesitate to ask if you have anything. So prefacing everything here is Mike stole my thunder. We're the #1 Shopify app here, particularly in the sales app category. So we have over 18,000 5-star reviews. I think we just have around 25,000 reviews in total, more than anyone else in the platform. And I think we've exceeded 500,000 users, both paid and free, over I think sometime in 2020. So if you see on the Shopify App Store, you'll see this description: pop-ups, newsletters, abandoned cart emails, and more. That's really the meat of the 2 biggest Privy products we have to offer. Again, Privy Convert, Privy Email, and Privy Text are the 3. Privy Convert has been around the longest. It's our flagship. This is where you're going to use the most features in regards to conversion optimization and growing a list, whether it's for email list or it's a SMS phone number list. Privy Email is a couple years old. It's a slightly newer product compared to Convert. It's a very valuable product. It's extremely Shopify focused. I want to be specific there. And we have some really awesome features we'll quickly gloss over. And then last is Privy Text. We launched this mid-year 2019, I think, Rick.
Yeah, a little over a year ago, I think.
Yeah, so Privy Text is on the newer side. I'd say if you look at these 3 products, as you move from left to right, the ICP becomes a little bit smaller each time. So Privy Convert has a very, very wide range of ideal customer profiles from a free tier, and some of the biggest Shopify merchants in the space use the platform. Privy Email is a little bit more SMB focused. Probably that $0 to $2 million annual revenue is a really good sweet spot for someone to use Privy Email and to grow that email revenue channel. Privy Text, we just have 2 types of text we can send. We can send an automated responder: hey, thanks for signing up, you'll be in the loop for exclusive offers, things like that. And then an abandoned cart text, which is probably the most valuable text message you can send. Hey, you left something in your cart, go finish it off with a 10% coupon, and really driving that lost purchase. So focusing on Privy Convert, and I'll turn it over to Rick to show a nice live example. The things that I like to call out here are that we have all different types of displays to capture emails or SMS numbers: spin to wins, pop-ups, mobile optimized flyouts, bars, banners, you name it. We have probably the most amount of templates and the most flexibility to create very engaging on-brand types of displays to capture or deliver any type of message you're trying to deliver. The cart saver is probably one of the most valuable features we offer. A cart saver means if someone has more than X amount of dollars in their cart on a Shopify or BigCommerce site, we want to trigger a display if they are about to leave and they have not signed up. And these can convert, above 10, 20%. They will naturally improve the conversion rate on the site, but they also are going to gather email addresses from people who have added a product to their cart, which is a really high value email. We can also do like cross-sell displays where we say, hey, someone has a pair of boots in their cart, recommend this pair of socks in a pop-up or a flyout. and you can put a button that directly adds that product to the cart for Shopify or BigCommerce. And we have 30 targeting attributes you can use to craft like really, really specific displays. One of the ones I like to mention, particularly for agencies and partners who have a large paid media presence, is we can customize a display based on the traffic source or the UTM or the URL that they're on. So, making sure that the display or the offer in a pop-up is consistent with the source of traffic. Maybe it's an ad they click through. You want to make sure you're showing the right offer to this cohort versus someone who came organic versus someone who came from a podcast URL or UTM and things like that. So I'm going to quickly stop sharing my screen. I'm going to hand it over to Rick, and he can walk through a live sort of demo of Privy Convert.
Cool. Can you guys see my screen here?
It's coming up right now. I see it.
Awesome.
Yep.
So this is a brand we work with called Chicken Legs. This is actually live on the site now. I grabbed a quick video of it just so I could sort of pause and interject, at a certain few points. Like Marco said, there's a bunch of different use cases, and this is just a good example of a couple different ones throughout the funnel and, ways that you can use Privy in a little bit different ways. So the first one we got here is, as you'll see, this bar up at the top. So this is what we call the free shipping bar. So for these guys, it's $50. They get free shipping. This is dynamic, meaning it updates based on what's actually in your cart. So if you add $25 to it, it's going to say, hey, $25 away from free shipping. Out of curiosity, is that anything that you guys have done in the past, either with other partners or built out sort of within the site itself?
Yes, usually custom and randomly.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the big advantages of Privy, obviously, is consolidation. So we do run into a lot of people that are either paying another partner for that or building it out custom. So just one of those things that is part of our portfolio and something you can get up and running literally in a matter of minutes. So so these guys have that up and running. The next one you'll see is basically their newsletter sign up form. So this leverages the flyout design. So there's also different pop-ups and bars and all sorts of templates that you can use. But this is totally customizable based on brand guidelines. These guys offer a 10% off discount. In this case, they're just grabbing your email, but again, totally up to you guys as far as what information you did want to pull in. So stuff like their name, if they're male or female, if they're shopping for a gift. You can build out custom drop downs. People put in your birthday, so you can send a coupon on their birthday. Totally up to you as far as how you build that out. And these are usually, like Marco mentioned, either targeted based on a UTM. So if they've come from some particular traffic source that had an offer, you can mirror that within here. And obviously people that haven't signed up already. So if somebody's already signed up for this form and then they come back, they won't see this. It's only people that you're trying to get into the funnel in that sense. So for the purposes of this, we're going to not sign up for it and go look at some products. So you see here, we're going to go into these singlets and tees. We're going to add a couple of these items to the cart. You see the free shipping bars up there, $50. And as you can imagine, once you add these two $24 items to the cart, once those are in that's going to update. And unfortunately, you're 2 cents away from free shipping. So, so that updates in real time. And a good use case here to kind of build off that. Obviously, you want somebody to see that. But to Mike's point earlier on the sort of conversion optimization side of things, once somebody sees that in their head, obviously they're going to think, man, I'm 2 cents away. I wish I could, get some little item. I wonder what's the cheapest thing I can add to my cart to get that free shipping. So these guys actually built out a cross-sell campaign based on that. So you see here, as soon as somebody crosses that threshold between $45 and $50 in their cart, they're going to know, hey, this person's almost at free shipping. They obviously are aware of that from the bar up there. So in this case, they're promoting this little sticker and magnet, which is $5.99. And we can actually have that add to cart button right in there within the display. So this is a really, lower funnel way to not only increase the conversions. Shipping cost is the #1 cost of cart management, but it's also going to get that average order value up. I know from these guys, they hardly sold any of these stickers and magnets before this, and now it's one of their most popular items just because they make it so easy and, add it to that free shipping offer. So for the purposes of this, we can add it in there to the cart, and you'll see once that is, the shipping bar is going to update to let you know, hey, you qualify for free shipping. So, the person's made their way to the site. They did not enter their email address. They went in, they put a couple items to their cart. They didn't quite qualify for free shipping. They got the cross-sell campaign, added that in there. So now they do qualify for free shipping. But to Mike's point earlier, exit intent and what we call a cart saver is a big part of Privy and what we offer. So for this instance, for whatever reason, we decide not to leave. And this is where the cart saver is going to be triggered. So this is based on typically 3 of those targeting attributes. So first being that they haven't previously signed up. So if somebody's already signed up for this newsletter, usually you're not going to want to, offer them up the same discount they've already opted into. And then also obviously exit intent. So this is for desktop. It does work on mobile as well. Slightly different triggering rules, but we recommend always breaking out one for desktop and one for mobile. And then obviously cart value. So we always recommend having some sort of item in your cart or some sort of value, just so you're not bugging people. I think you do want to be a little bit more strategic with this and targeting the lower funnel traffic. So if somebody just makes their way to your site, they look around for a minute and then go to leave, that person hasn't really raised their hand. They haven't told you they're necessarily, overly interested in any of the product. So for those people, we wouldn't recommend having an exit intent for something like this, especially where they've, put a couple items in their cart. They've shown that intent to purchase. That's where we would want to have this fire. And these convert really well, usually, depending on industry, between 10 and 12%. And a lot of times people come back and purchase right from this, but worst case scenario, just grab their email address and enter them to your marketing funnel. That is that. Any thoughts or questions on that?
Yeah, just a real quick question. So a couple of my clients on Shopify, they use Recart as well for like the mobile side of capturing their information, like the email, SMS, that type of stuff. Does Privy allow you to have it customizable to only show on desktop, so we're not missing out like a chunk of a portion that Recart isn't hitting?
So to have the newsletter sign up only appear on desktop?
Yeah, and like some of the other features as well, like the pop-ups to get like 10% off or something like that. Yeah, so with Recart, it only shows up on mobile devices, but on the desktop side of things, there's no real pop-ups on any of my clients' stores. Does Privy allow like customization to only show on desktop?
Yeah, 100%. That's one of those 30 targeting rules that Marco mentioned.
Okay.
Is device category, so you can just pick desktop or mobile. And we actually have different templates that are optimized for those different categories. So the flyout I showed there is actually a mobile specific design. It looks good on desktop too, but yeah, we can absolutely break it out that way.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to add to that too, we have an integration with Recart, and so regardless of the platform, typically we can pass data over to it, whether it's a Klaviyo, a Recart, Postscript. We have over 50 integrations. So what usually is the best approach, but of course I'm not trying to make this a territorial situation, is when you have kind of one platform controlling all of the communication. That way you're not hitting people with multiple displays from different platforms who are maybe asking for the same thing. So I think the short answer, yeah, we can totally like take control of desktop while something else takes control of mobile, and some people do that. But there's also probably a way to have a cohesive strategy where Privy can handle the dialogue and pop-ups on both and pass the data over to Recart. So just something to think about, and we could always chat more about that too.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. So hopefully that, I'm trying to share my screen here again. So that gives a good idea for like a full funnel approach to how you can use Privy, converts displays and things like that to accomplish a variety of goals. So I always kind of think about 3 key metrics. It's sign up rate, whether it's for an email or a phone number. How can we help with conversion rate? So the cart savers are one of the biggest value adds there. Also, the free shipping bar usually has a direct impact on conversions. And then last would be average order value. How can we improve average order value? By recommending a product in a display. And I think one sort of last piece to mention is that all these are really easy to create. They take a few minutes. It's all drag and drop, builder, editor. With 500,000 users, the large majority of them are mom and pop shops, solo marketing teams who just manage and build out Privy displays on their own. No coding required, anything like that. So barrier to entry is really low. Time to value is very fast, and time to get something launched is probably one of the biggest metrics we focus on as a product. Let us know if you guys have any other questions there on Privy Convert. Otherwise, I'm going to take a quick second here to talk about Privy email, if that works for you guys. So, yeah, please.
Yeah, thanks. Just another question about mobile versus desktop. You mentioned, for example, the exit intent pop-up does have different, triggers on mobile, but the theory is the same. Do you have any numbers offhand that you could share about just performance mobile versus desktop? Like, hey, desktop, I don't know, improves conversions by 5% with this, and mobile is 10%, or mobile it's actually 2%. Just how, how is the performance of some of these? Like even like the spin to win, I don't know, it's like pretty big, right? Do you recommend that on mobile? Yeah, just generally speaking, is performance of these things better on desktop versus mobile? It depends.
Yeah, Rick, I can take a stab at it and feel free to jump in. So hard to give metrics because there's so many factors, right? It is the product value, it's the site, the catalog, what's the offer on the display. A 10% coupon is going to convert better than someone who's just saying sign up for updates, right? So there's so many nuances. We can't give like very hard metrics as to what to expect for conversion rate or how something works on mobile versus desktop. Typically, though, the thought process is, look, if you optimize a display for mobile and you optimize a display for desktop, it's going to have a better user experience. Naturally, you're going to have better success with it. To answer your question, Mike, in terms of how does the exit intent work on mobile, it differs between iOS and Android just because those browsers work a little bit differently from the different phones. But usually it works if you're within the browser clicking on like a new tab, or if you're Xing out of a tab, again, within the browser. If you hit like your phone's like home screen or like your phone's tab button to open up all your tabs, it probably won't fire that way. But they convert really, really well because you're focusing on a cohort of people who are very engaged and they've showed intent because they've added a product to the cart. And the triggers work very, very well, both on desktop and mobile. So we see very, very high sign-up rates on the cart saver. And then again, that allows you to build a really healthy email list of high-value users to start to work on and try and sell through email. The last thing is the spin to win converts the highest probably in terms of sign-up rates because two reasons. One, people kind of like the gamification stuff, but also two, people like to try and win stuff. However, the sort of long tail metric to keep in mind is what's the engagement of that email and that user. Some people are just going to sign up 3 or 4 times with different emails to try and get the best offer. They might not be the most engaged, email address or contact. So we usually recommend a spin to win. If you're going to use it, do it on desktop. I think it just performs a little better. It's smaller. It's more natural on desktop. On mobile, use more of a flyout. And you can expect very, very high conversion rates from that display, but you want to make sure you have a good email, sequence to follow up with like a welcome series and things like that. Awesome. Any other questions before we talk email? Cool. So again, email is probably one of the most boring things you could demo because they're emails. So I'm going to keep it to a slide and just speak to it a little bit. Again, it uses basically the same editor as Privy Convert, which is drag and drop, really easy to use, focus on getting something launched and live and active quickly so that you can start to see value in the shortest amount of time possible. Email is really built for that $0 to $2 million ICP for a Shopify user. One of the reasons that we really focus on this ICP is, one, we have a seamless Shopify integration, so we can pull in tons of Shopify data that allow you to segment your list by, last transaction, lifetime value, abandoned carts, things like that. These are really, really powerful metrics and features to use for an email platform if you are an e-commerce brand. If you're an e-commerce brand and you're using something like MailChimp, where Shopify is not telling MailChimp, how much money people spend, when they last bought something, things like that, you're missing out on golden opportunities to focus on a very, high value contact or a list of high value contacts. So we offer newsletters, obviously, things that you just want to have more of a general communication with your list. Abandoned cart emails are one of the most impactful in terms of driving revenue. Someone abandons a cart, Privy's going to read that, and you can trigger a series or sequence of emails, immediately, X amount of hours, days, weeks after someone abandons a cart, and tailor the messaging and offer for each of those emails. We can send order confirmation emails as well from Shopify. So if someone orders, you want to communicate with them right away, thank them, and continue to nurture that relationship and bring them back and improve lifetime value. The newest sequence we have is customer win back. So we can create a cohort of users based on when's the last time they made a purchase. And this is also, a really important cohort to think about. You've built trust with them. They've bought from you before. I would assume the majority of them are happy customers. How can you re-engage them and get them back? And again, you can build any sort of custom segment that we don't already have as like a pre-built series here by using a lot of the Shopify data that we can pull into the CRM, as well as any Privy data that we can pull in from Privy Convert. What display did they sign up on? When's the last time they interacted with the Privy campaign? Things like that.
Yeah, and just something to add to on the abandoned cart, there's actually a pretty significant functionality advantage when using Privy email for cart abandonment with Convert, in that all of the people that come in and sign up through a Privy form, we're going to have cookied, which just gives you a much, much bigger volume of folks that you're able to send those to. So in other words, if somebody came to a site yesterday, they signed up for a Privy form, and then they come back 3 months from now, we still know who they are and we still have their email address. So if that same person comes in, puts something in their cart, but does not make it to checkout, if they abandon that cart, we can then send them a cart abandonment email. Whereas with a MailChimp or Shopify email or any of these other options, they would require them to actually physically type in the email address in order to scrape that, whereas we'd already have it. So it's a pretty significant volume of folks that we'll be able to send those to. We wouldn't know who they are otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I said the abandoned cart email is going to drive the most revenue, and it's one of the most impactful email sequences rather. And yeah, it just speaks to Privy Convert's ability to identify what people are doing, have they looked at products, or they added products to their cart, and we can hit them at an earlier point than most other email platforms can, and therefore, save a sale before most other email platforms can, therefore driving more revenue more quickly. Any questions on Privy email here? I think that's a good sort of summary for, features, things like that, and we can talk more high level about the other products. Cool. So I think it's really important, especially, for everyone in the room, whether you're sales or project manager, account manager, or again, like in the weeds on a specific marketing channel, is to know who's a good fit for something and who's not. So you're recommending the right platform, and you're making sure that it's going to add value to the client. So looking at Privy Convert, again, this was the flagship product. It's been being worked on for 8 years. We have some of the biggest brands on it, but we also have a free trial for really small businesses. And so we have more of a wide range of like an ideal customer profile. It says 0 to 10 million, and frankly, sometimes even larger in terms of annual revenue. The things that we really focus on: how can we help list growth? How can we reduce cart abandonment? And how can we help someone sell more products? Is really like the three sort of value proposition trifecta. Ideal profile in terms of platform, because our app offers the most features for Shopify and BigCommerce, I put those two up above anything else. But again, we have dozens of partners who don't use Shopify or BigCommerce. They're WordPress shops, they are Volusion shops, Magento shops, what have you, and they use Privy Convert. They're just not able to do anything, targeting the cart. But with 30 targeting attributes, they still are able to use it for, paid media types of displays, again, based on traffic source, and a whole plethora of other use cases, which are really valuable. And if someone's not using Privy email, that's totally fine. Privy email is just a couple of years old, and a lot of people have, a preferred platform of choice. So Klaviyo, there's Retention Science, there's Bronto, there's so many email platforms out there. We probably have an integration with them, so we can sync lists over to them immediately as soon as someone signs up from Privy, making sure that we're growing that email list and we're helping really fuel the return on investment for that platform. And if we don't have an integration for some reason, we have Zapier and we have webhooks, so we can connect to just about anything on the email side. So for Privy email, again, that's more of an SMB focused product. So we usually look at like $0 to $2 million in annual revenue. The things that we're looking to help with is if you really don't have email automation or sequences yet as a business, it's time to start building that out so you can automate your emails and start to just drive revenue while you sleep. And improving that integration with Shopify. If you have a Shopify site and you don't have Shopify data in your email platform, you're missing out on really focusing on different cohorts of users who are very high value. And then we also, in terms of like what's a really ideal profile where Privy email makes a great fit. If you're on MailChimp, for example, you don't have that integration, you probably need something that does to drive email revenue. If you're on Shopify email, which is sort of the out-of-the-box email platform from Shopify, it's a little bit newer, not a lot of features, can't do as much around abandoned carts. You probably want something a little bit more powerful. Seguno is another more sort of bottom of the barrel email platform as well. So if you see any clients on these platforms and they're on Shopify, probably worth, a conversation, or at least, your ears might want to perk up for how you can help your clients drive more sales on those platforms. And I'd say a healthy list size of like below 350,000 contacts is probably where these types of, merchants are in terms of like the size of their list and things like that. So sometimes like a more metric oriented ICP qualification is helpful. And then, in terms of other values that aren't more feature based, super easy to use, again, tighter integration, very cost effective. Privy email starts at $13 a month for up to 1,000 contacts. And anytime you add a new, bucket of 500 contacts, or you start to grow your list every 500 contacts, it's just going to be an extra $5. So one of the most cost-effective email platforms in the space, especially considering what you get in terms of features. Privy Convert, as I mentioned, we have a free trial. So this is also a really good way to say, hey, client, think we could be doing more to capture more emails here. I think it'd be really awesome to do a cart saver, to do a cross sell. We could try Privy out for 2 weeks. No harm, no foul if you're not super happy with the results. This is always a really easy way to, try something new and show a client that you're sort of thinking outside the box and coming up with ideas for how to improve other key metrics on the site. And then if someone's like a small business, they have less than 5,000 page views, they can use Privy for free. And then Privy is like a sort of list price. It scales with traffic. So starts at $20 a month. And it can go up to, 70, 140, 250 and up depending on the size of the business. So, we're always happy to talk through pricing, figure that out. And obviously, in terms of like partnership benefits, you can do some calculations for what that, might pay out. And last thing I'll mention here is we offer onboarding and customer success managers for any plan, $70 and up. Probably one of the reasons we have so many reviews, frankly, is because our dedication to support and onboarding and just like really helping our accounts ensure success and maximize success with Privy. We overinvest in training and support, frankly. It's like not a profitable part of a business typically. So this is, the reason we've been able to have such a stellar reputation in the space. I think it's important to mention to agencies because you want to make sure that someone's going to feel supported and they're going to have the resources, to use the platform properly and get the help that they need when they need it. So I think that's everything on product stuff. And then I just have a slide on the partnership, but I just want to take a quick pause, pulse check, any questions, thoughts, feedback for any of that. Does this seem valuable? Does it spark ideas for clients? I'm going to take a sip of water.
Marco, tell me about just like your pricing compared to, say, I don't know, MailChimp or Sendinblue or Klaviyo in terms of your email product. Is it cheaper, around the same? Is it a little bit more expensive? How do you guys compare in terms of that?
Rick, you probably have seen it firsthand the most.
Yeah, I would say we're definitely going to be more cost effective than MailChimp. Which is great because we have the Shopify integration and they don't necessarily. So I think from that point of view, we're usually able to be pretty competitive against them. As far as like Klaviyo goes, candidly, like they're usually going to be, a little bit more higher priced than we are. And they, it's a great product. They've got a lot of extra functionality. So I would say the majority of the time that people come over from Klaviyo to Privy is if they're playing for Klaviyo, but not necessarily using all of the functionality, all the bells and whistles that are available through the tool. And they say, hey, I'm just sending a couple newsletters, doing some basic segmentation. I could save a lot of money by switching over to Privy and get everything I need. So we're sort of between those two products. We're sort of right in the middle, I would say, price wise.
I'm sorry, you said you were. Did you say you were cheaper than MailChimp too, or?
Sorry, yeah. Sorry. So yes, we would be on the lower end of both of those.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's also with Shopify email, for example, like the pricing structure is totally different. I think it's around emails you send and paying for emails you send. So it's also important to keep in mind when you're paying based on contacts, I think it's a little bit more in line with what a merchant cares about. So you don't want to be penalized for sending more emails, right, and driving more revenue. So with Shopify email, I think that's the position to take. It's kind of hard to say one's more expensive or cheaper than the other when you're not basing the price on the same thing. But yeah, I think the important thing is like you want to make sure you're paying for or you're getting a return on the activity, and you're not sort of being penalized for the activity. Awesome. So partner benefits, I know we quickly talked about these, but you guys are a gold partner. So I just want to mention sort of what this means for you guys. There's an obvious partner benefit on the commission side, which is pretty standard for a lot of app partners. I think what is super important though, again, as it relates to like recommending things to clients, making sure that you have confidence in the product and confidence in the long-term relationship with the product that you actually put your recommendation on the line for. So we're here to escalate support as needed. We have live chat support from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time, which not a lot of companies have. Our team's roughly 90-ish people here at Privy, so a very solid team. And we're really heavily investing in the product and support and training. Rick and I do a lot of like strategic conversations with partners. So if you want to talk about an account one-on-one, we can dive through their site, audit their site, and let them know what Privy features they could see a lot of value from. If someone has a Privy account already, we can audit that and say, look, you guys could be doing ABC a little bit better. D, E, and F is really solid, so keep doing what you're doing. And as our partners bring on more accounts, once we have 10 mutual accounts, we dedicate a customer success manager to all of their accounts. So they will work directly with our agency partner. And on a monthly basis, if they want to get together, let's say the 3 or 4 project managers who manage these 10 clients want to get together with the CSM, they put their heads together, they set up an hour or 2-hour call, and they dig through, auditing, making recommendations, and making sure that, the account is constantly improving and being optimized. I like to do quarterly team meetings and, show my partners cool examples of what's coming out of Privy. Mike, we can talk a little bit more about this and, maybe wrapping a few folks into here who you think might see the most value. And then co-marketing is probably one of the most attractive opportunities, typically to, the leaders of a partner that we have. So one of the awesome things is we have a fantastic brand. We have a fantastic marketing team. We have a podcast that we have some phenomenal speakers on. Mike was able to sneak into an episode right before the holidays, episode 91, highly recommend it. Outside of the podcast, which gets tens of thousands of downloads every week, Mike, I think you're already about to break 1,000 downloads since right around Christmas, which is really cool. We have master classes where we get our partners involved and get them on live webinars with a few hundred merchants to talk through a certain specific marketing channel. We have a 2,000 merchant size Facebook community where we do Ask Me Anythings with different partners. And we just have, between putting out our book and other really solid and buzzworthy content, we have a really great opportunity with our partners to get them in front of our audience of, 500,000 users. So think that puts a good bow on the partnership and Privy as a whole. Thank you guys for your time. I want to open it up. I'll stop presenting here. And if there's any remaining questions, please let me know. Let's dive in. And if you guys want to follow up with with myself and Rick, here are emails, just marco@privy.com and rick@privy.com. And we made good timing, quarter of. Yeah, guys, please, if there's anything else, I know we answered a few questions throughout the conversation, which is always a good sign. But if anything else is lingering, feel free to raise your hand and jump in. I'm here for 15 more minutes if needed.
It looks like we're good. Thanks, guys. Marco, Rick, really appreciate your time. I think you guys have a great product, and complementing your great product is an awesome price and awesome support, which is just as important. SmartSites team, I am writing the partner intro email right now. I will Skype it into our Skype group chat. Hopefully you guys could get some clients on board for this. Again, I think it's one of those things that our clients could really use. Clients that get lots of traffic but are having issues converting them. Privy is the #1 solution for it. Yeah, thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Great meeting you. I'll follow up with the deck too, and I have a screenshot of everyone who jumped in, so we'll send a book to a few folks. And again, reach out if you have any questions, and looking forward to working together.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.